The summer of 1807 found Napoleon Bonaparte on top of the world. He just signed the treaties of Tilsit, forcing Russia and Prussia to bow to French power. Victories stacked higher than his bicorn hat. What better way to celebrate than with a lavish hunting party? Guns, wine, and a chance for the emperor to show his generals that he could conquer wildlife as easily as Europe. Napoleon put his trusted chief of staff, Alexander Berthier, in charge. Berthier arranged everything: gleaming carriages, polished muskets, a royal picnic, and most importantly, plenty of rabbits to shoot. Why leave anything to chance when you can just buy the prey? Farmers were paid to supply hundreds, maybe even a few thousand rabbits. A rabbit is a rabbit, right? On the appointed afternoon, the imperial party lined up on a grand field. At the signal, cages opened. Instead of darting for cover, the rabbits did something no one expected. They charged. First a trickle of fluffy bodies, then a wave gray, brown and determined. Dozens became hundreds, bounding straight toward Napoleon with the confidence of creatures who believed dinner had finally arrived. These were farm rabbits, raised for feeding. Time not fleeing. To them, the world's most feared military genius looked suspiciously like a giant food dispenser. The front line of bunnies hit his boots. Others hopped onto his coat, tugging at his trousers. Soldiers tried shoeing them with gun butts, but the furry onslaught kept coming like a living, twitch-nosed tide. Napoleon brandished his riding crop. Nothing. He shouted orders that once made nations tremble. Still nothing. At last, discretion became the better part of valor. Napoleon leapt into his carriage and ordered a full retreat, the rabbits swarming behind as if chasing their personal chef. Witnesses later joked that the emperor and his generals had been overrun and routed by a horde of rabbits, and it was hard to argue with the evidence. Back at camp, the mystery unraveled quickly. Berthier, eager to guarantee an impressive hunt, had bought domestic rabbits instead of wild hares. These animals had one instinct: run toward humans at feeding time. The second those cages opened, they simply went to the buffet. The buffet was Napoleon. The story never made it into the official war records. No glorious bulletins from the Battle of the Bunnies, but letters and memoirs preserve the embarrassment. Napoleon, conqueror of Europe, had been forced into retreat by creatures that weighed less than a loaf of bread. Cartoonists already loved drawing him small. Now they had material that practically wrote itself. Even funnier, Napoleon wasn't actually that short, around 5'6", average for his era. But when critics heard that an average-sized man had been stampeded by pocket-sized rabbits, the jokes multiplied faster than, well, rabbits. So what's the moral of this imperial fluff-up? Double-check your guest list and your livestock before declaring war on nature. Or at least make sure your enemies know they're supposed to run away. And that is how, on a sunny July afternoon, the man who reshaped Europe discovered that the only army he truly couldn't outmaneuver was one that hopped.